and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Andrea and today I'm going to show you how to make these cute little heart-shaped cutout cookies. Great for Valentine's Day or a special occasion. So you are going to have to plan ahead for these just a little bit because they will require some refrigeration of the dough. So 8 hours, I'll probably just do mine 24 hours. So we're going to get in and get the dough mixed up. In my stand mixer, we're going to mix 2 sticks of room temperature butter. Just let your butter set out for a few hours till it's softened up. Unless it's super hot in your house, and then it might not take that long. So 2 sticks. And then 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. And then an 8-ounce package of room temperature cream cheese. So just dump that in there. Again, just like the butter, set it out for a couple of hours on your counter and it should be good to go. So we're just going to cream this together. It's only going to take a minute or two. And we'll start on low and then move it up to about medium. All right, so that was just about a minute. That'll be perfectly fine. So I'm just going to kind of scrape this off of here a little bit. Get it all back in the pool. Scrape down the bowl. So it's just going to look kind of like that. So fairly thick, light and fluffy though. All right, so now we're going to add 1 egg, a whole egg, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And just give that a quick little mix. Scrape that down again. All right, in this bowl, I've got 3 1/4 cup of sifted all-purpose flour. And to that, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of cornstarch. And then 1 teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So that's just going to go in there. And we're just going to mix that. All right, and then we're just going to add this a little bit at a time to our cream mixture here. So that's mixed up. And we're just going to kind of scrape this off here. It's going to be really, really sticky. So not something that you're going to be able to work with at this stage. That's why we have to chill it. So by doing that, you'll get a much more tender cookie. If we just kept adding flour to this so that we could actually roll them out now, you would have a very tough cookie. So nobody wants that. All right. So we're just going to get some plastic wrap. And I'm going to get a scraper So we're just gonna scrape this out of the bowl. If you don't have one of these, just use a spatula. It'll just be a little harder, a little more work to get it off the sides of the bowl. This just works really well at being able to flex and bend so that you can actually get it around the bowl. All right, so just like that. You can tell just how sticky it really is. I mean, there's no way you could work with that at this stage. So we're just gonna wrap it up. And I always double wrap just so that I make sure that everything gets covered. Because if you don't, you'll wind up with some dried out parts and you don't want that. So I'll usually flip it over. There we go. Now we'll go this direction. All right, that's all there is to it. Now I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator. 8 hours, I'm probably gonna wait 24 hours. So I'll be back tomorrow and I'll show you how to roll these out, cut them, and then we're gonna put a frosting and kind of decorate these cookies a little bit. So, all right, we'll see you back later. All right, so our cookie dough has chilled for close to 24 hours in the fridge. I've just pulled it out and unwrapped it. There's no need to let it come to temperature. You don't want it to come to room temperature. So I'm just going to cut this in about a third. So, and then another one. And then we're only going to work with one section of this. So let's put some flour down here so it doesn't stick. And then I'm just going to just lightly cover these and slide them back into the fridge until we're ready to work on them. All right, so this dough is still pretty sticky, even though it's a solid chunk. It's still fairly soft, pretty sticky. So I'm just going to kind of lightly dust some flour. This is just all-purpose flour. Just dust some of that over it just to kind of keep it from being too sticky so I can work with it a little bit. So I'm just kind of pressing it out, making a little bit bigger of a disc. And we'll just put some more flour, lay that there. And then we're going to flour our rolling pin. And we're just going to work this out here. And I like to turn my dough just so that I feel like I'm getting an even distribution of weight from the rolling pin. And it also kind of helps to keep it from sticking. So, and we're getting some cracks. That's okay, it's very fixable. So we're gonna roll this out to between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch thick. You don't want them too thick, but you definitely don't want them super thin either. If they're too thin, they'll just burn. They'll be super crispy. They just won't really be what you're looking for. So that's got a crack in it, but that's okay. So we're going to do heart shapes. So I have got several cookie cutters that are all heart shaped, all different sizes, all different shapes. And then I've got some that have kind of a fluted edge on them as well, and then some little ones. So I'm just going to start out with my biggest one and just find a spot where there's no cracks coming into it and just press that in there. And then we'll use a smaller one here. I like these because there's a variety of sizes so it's not just one size of cookie. So these are about 1/4 inch thick here, which is a good thickness for your cookie. So I'm just gonna lay that. It's a nice big one. So I'm just gonna lay these on an ungreased baking sheet. So no parchment paper or anything, just the straight sheet there. And let's see, let's go for some more here. I like the variety of sizes, so when you're doing like a box of cookies, it just adds a nice variety when you look at it. So go with some smaller ones here, and I got some little ones. And these cookies don't spread, so you can put them fairly close together. And let's see, how many more can I get out of this batch? A few more little ones. All right, so we've still got quite a bit of dough here, but we're not going to waste it. So we'll just kind of bring it together, form it back into a ball. And since it's already getting fairly soft at this point, I'm going to grab another of the cold batches that's in the fridge and put this one in the fridge. So I'm going to go ahead and finish rolling and cutting all of these out. And I'm just placing them on the cookie sheet, kind of like this. They're going to bake for 7 to 10 minutes, depending on how hot your oven bakes at. So just kind of check them. They're not really going to get too much color at all on the top. Where you're going to see the color is on the bottom of the cookie. So once you go 7 to 10 minutes, just check the bottom. If it's just starting to get a little bit of color, then that's what you're looking for. If it gets too golden on the bottom, then it's a little overdone. They'll still be fine. They're just gonna have a little more of a bite to them. So 375-degree oven, 7 to 10 minutes. I'll let them cool, and when we come back, I'll make some frosting and we will decorate these cookies. All right, so our heart-shaped cookies have all baked and cooled down. So I just let them cool on the sheet tray for a couple minutes, and then I moved them to a cooling rack for about 15-20 minutes until they were firmed up and cooled. And then I just stacked them by size on this cookie sheet. So I like things to be organized, so that's the way I do it. You can do it however you want to. So we're gonna make a buttercream frosting for these. So in my mixer, I've got 2 sticks of room temperature butter. And actually my butter is a little bit beyond room temperature. It's pretty warm in my kitchen right now. So anyway, it'll work. I might need to add a little more powdered sugar to it, but it'll be okay. So we're just gonna get this going. And we're just gonna let this kind of beat for about a minute or so. I let that beat for a minute or two. Like I said, my butter is really, really soft, so it's not really gonna whip so much. I did scrape the bowl down once between that. So if your butter does get really soft, you can always just pop it into the refrigerator for a few minutes. I've done that. We are going to add our powdered sugar. So I have 3 cups of sifted powdered sugar. So I'm just going to add that in a little bit at a time. did say sifted powdered sugar. Definitely go ahead and sift it. Mine was super lumpy. And the last thing you want is lumps in your frosting. You know, your beater will get some of that out, but not all of it. So just go ahead and sift it and you'll be good. So that's just mixed in a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and scrape the bowl down because there's still a lot. You can see there's a lot around on the sides. Pretty sure I'm going to add some more powdered sugar. So at this point we're going to add our flavoring. Now you can go with vanilla, almond, you could even go with strawberry if you wanted, since these are heart-shaped. You could also go with an orange flavor. Really it's just whatever flavor you like. So I think I'm going to go with vanilla. So just a teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're going to go with a tablespoon of milk. You can use just regular whole milk. I'm using almond milk. That's what I've been using for years. I just like it. I always have almond milk in the house, whereas sometimes I don't have regular milk. So we're going to start with 1 tablespoon of almond milk and mix it up. I just mixed it on low for about 30 seconds until the milk and the vanilla was mixed in. And then I turned it up on a medium speed. I just didn't want to splash that around. So I am going to add a little more powdered sugar though, since my butter was so soft. I'm not sure if I'll use this whole cup or not. So you just want to be careful about adding too much powdered sugar because then it just becomes really sweet and doesn't have a whole lot of flavor to it. So it is buttercream, so you want it to have a buttery taste to it. And you can see how lumpy my powdered sugar is. So it's usually not that bad. There we go. All right. So I'm just gonna add a scoop here. I don't want it to be so thick that I can't pipe it, but I also need it to not be runny. So it needs to kind of be able to set up on its own. So still really a little bit too soft because here, and you're not going to be able to see this, but here I can actually see where it just looks kind of wet from just the butter being really soft and then having the milk in there as well. So we're going to go ahead and add some more powdered sugar here. And again, I'm still working on this 1 cup that I put in here. Now that I have powdered sugar everywhere, so let's see where we're at now. All right, so our buttercream is mixed up, so I'm just going to kind of divide this out into 2 different bowls. because we're going to make 2 different colors. And I'll leave some in here just to leave as white. Okay. Let's see. So I've got 2 different pink colors here. One is a really pale pink, and then another one is more of a bright, kind of a fuchsia kind of pink color. So, and this is gel. So this is gel coloring. So I'm just going to start out with squeezing it where I just get, come on, 1 drop. If I can get it to, there we go. Because I want to be able to see, I don't want it to be super bright, so we just want kind of a pale pink color. Just mix that in there. There we go. Yeah, that's a pretty color. So it's just a real soft pink. A little darker than a blush. I've been able to get a blush color for frosting, but it's really hard to get because you just got to put such a small amount. So this one we're going to want a little brighter, so, and it is a darker color, so we're just going to go one little dot of that, mix it in, and that's going to be enough for that one. So this is what I would call like, maybe like Pepto-Bismol pink. It's just a bright pink color. So this is like a cotton candy kind of pink. Okay, and then the other one we're going to just leave white. So I have 3 piping bags here. 2 of them I've fitted with the little inserts for the small tips. And then this one I just cut it so I could add a larger tip. So this is a Wilton 1M tip. So we'll use that for our bigger cookies. And then I'm using a Wilton number 21. So we'll just put that on there. And then I've got a combination here of 3 that I'll swap out for a cookie. They're all, so let's go with some of this bright pink in this bag. Twist it up, and you can see this was our big cookie. It's a good size cookie. Take this, just trying to find the right spot, and we're just going to pipe around the edge, just like that, and then another one right through the center there, and then just a little bit in the middle. So it has a real ruffly kind of look to it. And then with that, I'm going to add some sprinkles. And you can add whatever sprinkles you want. This one is what's called unicorn dust. So this one's a really fine, it's got pinks and golds and blues, and it's just a really pretty, real sparkly one. So I'm going to finish decorating all of these, and then I'll show you what they look like. All right, so I've got all the cookies frosted and decorated with sprinkles. I will say that I did make another batch of buttercream just because these cookies do have a lot of frosting on them. So it really is going to depend on how much frosting you put on each cookie, if you'll need 1 batch or 2. So, but I wanted you to be able to see all of the cookies, such a variety of different shapes and colors. Pretty for for Valentine's Day. So I do also want to mention, if you use almond milk in your frosting, make sure that you label that. If you're taking it somewhere and you don't know all of the folks that'll be eating those cookies, just make sure you label that it does contain almond milk, just in case somebody has an allergy. So that wraps up these beautiful little heart-shaped cookies, all decorated for Valentine's Day, or maybe a cute little tea party for the little girls or little granddaughters, or just for a special occasion. I hope you enjoy.